Russell Canning.
Yeah, should be good to go.
Everybody can have a seat back there.
You got a seat at the table back there?
Okay.
Have a seat right now. All right, Mr. Canning, do you trial?
I can't record.
It's a recorder.
Yeah, this is recording for the.
What's that recording?
It's recording for him.
But you have a relationship with the defendant? Talking to you.
I just offered an audio recorder to place up there. It's a better location for picking up voices. I have permission to record audio, so I assumed it was okay to.
Okay, you need to ask first. That's okay, but you need to ask so we know what's going on. That's all. All right. What's your relationship with the defendant?
I know him.
Do I have to answer that question?
Yes.
I know him. I know who he is.
Okay.
I guess if he wants to have a recording, probably just put it in the middle so that he can record everything, not just one party.
Sure.
Can you hear that it's picking up?
I have two sources. That would be okay right there. Thank you.
Okay. And can you hear, if you turn off the other ones, can you tell whether that one's working or not?
I looked at it and I can tell it's working.
Okay. All right, do you need a copy of the complaint in front of you when we go forward here, or you all set?
No.
All right, the charge is operating after revocation or suspension. The state has three elements. It has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that you drove a vehicle, that you're on a way, alleged here to be Bays Hill Road, and that at the time your privilege had been suspended by the director of motor vehicle. The way we'll proceed is the state has the burden of proving the case. How many witnesses does the state have?
Two, Your Honor.
Okay, so each of the state's witnesses will come up, they'll be sworn in. When they're done with their testimony, you can ask them questions relevant to the case. All right? You're not obligated to ask questions, but that'll probably be your only chance to ask those witnesses any questions as far as this case is concerned. When the state's done, if you have any legal motions to make, you can make legal motions at that point. You're not obligated to do that either. And once you're done at that point, if you wanted to put on a defense, then you could do that. Do you have any witnesses that you're going to ask to call relevant to this case?
No.
Okay. All right. Then if you want to change your mind when we get to that point, you can certainly do that. You ready to go with the procedure? Understand how we're going to proceed now?
Sure.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. The state will call Lieutenant Maxfield to the stand as his first witness.
Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Have a seat, please.
Lieutenant Maxfield, you can give for the court record your full name, the spelling of your last name, and who you're employed by, please.
My name is Shane Maxfield, M-A-X-F-I-E-L-D. I'm employed by the City of Keene Police Department.
And how long have you employed by the City of Keene?
About 16 years.
And during that 16 years, have you received any training in the motor vehicle statute and enforcement of motor vehicle violations?
Yes, I have.
And where has that been, sir?
Police standards and training, and also at the Keene Police Department.
Okay, what is your capacity at the Keene Police Department?
I'm a lieutenant in the Uniform Bureau of the Operations Division.
Were you working on May 29, 2008?
Yes, I was.
And what was your assignment on that day, sir?
My assignment was the patrol shift commander.
And as a shift commander, what are some of the jobs that you routinely do?
Oversee the day-to-day operations of the uniform patrol officers, manage critical incidents, manage other incidents, things like that.
Do you recall your location around 1952 hours? Or 7:52?
Sure.
And what was that?
I was in the West Street, Bays Hill Road area. The officers had concluded a motor vehicle pursuit, and they were in the process of arresting the operator of that motor vehicle. That incident was taking up most of one lane on West Street, right at Bays Hill Road. So I went there to see if I could assist with whatever they were doing, and also when I got there, I saw that I needed to direct some traffic to help traffic get from Bays Hill Road onto West Street.
Did you, while assisting at that incident, you make any other observations unrelated to that incident?
Yes, while I was directing traffic, I observed Mr. Canning drive up in a blue Mazda Protege, I believe. It was currently registered to his wife, and he drove up to the stop sign, stopped and smiled at me.
Are you familiar with Mr. Canning?
Yes, I am.
Is Mr. Canning at the courthouse today?
Yes, he is. He's seated at the defense table.
And did you have any prior knowledge of Mr. Canning's operating privileges?
Yes, I was pretty certain they were under suspension.
And after observing Mr. Canning driving, what did you do?
I walked over to the car. He asked what was going on. I told him what was going on and asked him to pull over to the side, which he did. Then I told Officer Tenney to double check his license status and just it was under suspension. He did.
Did you identify Mr. Canning by any form of identification?
I did not.
Your Honor, you can take judicial notice that Batesville Road in Keene, New Hampshire is a public way.
I do.
So after your interaction and your with Mr. Canning, did you and turn it over to Officer Tenney? Did you do anything else?
Aside from stand around and have a little bit of a discussion, no.
Okay. I have no further questions for you.
Okay, Mr. Canning, if you had any questions for this witness, you can ask them now.
No.
Okay. All right, thank you. State have another witness.
Yes. The state's second witness is Officer Tenney.
Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm that any testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do, Your Honor.
See?
Officer Tenney, if you can, for the record, give your full name, the spelling of your last name, and who you're employed by.
Stephen Tenney, T-E-N-N-E-Y, Keene Police Department.
And how long have you been employed with the Keene Police Department?
About 9.5 years.
And during that 9.5 years, have you received training in the enforcement of motor vehicle code?
I have at the New Hampshire Police Academy and through annual training at the Keene Police Department.
Were you working on May 29th, 2008 at around 7:52?
I was.
Do you recall your location and what were you doing?
I was at the intersection of West Street and Base Hill Road assisting Officer Short at the conclusion of a motorcycle pursuit.
Did you receive any information regarding Mr. Russell Canning?
I did. I was asked by Lieutenant Maxfield to go speak with Mr. Canning, who was pulled over on the side of the road. I was told by the lieutenant that he had seen Canning drive up to the intersection, and that's why he had asked him to pull over. I am also familiar with Mr. Canning and know that his license is suspended originally out of California and also in New Hampshire.
Did you, based on the information that you had, did you check to see if what the status of Mr. Canning's license was?
I did. I ran it through spots on the state computer in our cruiser on our laptops.
And what was the status of this license on May 29th?
It was suspended.
That was suspended by the state of New Hampshire?
Yes.
Based on that information, did you take any other actions after that?
I went back and spoke to Mr. Canning, advised him that I would have to arrest him for the driving after suspension.
Hang on a second. You may not be aware of the rules. The camera has to stay focused. You can't pan, you can't move the camera once you've got decided where you're going to be. So you have to have it big enough to take. You can't be moving the camera back and forth.
I'm sorry, there's more than one person talking though, so.
Well, if you can't get everybody in the picture, then you can't be moving the camera. That's one of the rules. You can't move the camera back and forth. Maybe next time you should come in first. We can talk about it first.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. It's okay for today. Next time we'll have to go with the ground rules, right? Go ahead.
I went back and I spoke to Mr. Canning. I advised him that his license was under suspension and that he was under arrest for driving under suspension. He was taken into custody and transported by Officer Short. Before we left, Mr. Canning gave Officer Short permission to move his car so he didn't have to be towed from the roadway, and that was pulled up opposite side of the road.
This is a copy of the motor vehicle record for Mr. Russell Canning, 88 Sparrow Street, that indicates you're under suspension. Any objection for me to show this to the court?
No.
And this is a copy of the letter that is sent to from motor vehicle to you, indicating that if you don't take action by a certain date, your license will be suspended. No issues when you present it to the court?
No. It's you guys' paperwork.
Your Honor, this is a copy of the motor vehicle that indicates that Mr. Canning is on suspension.
I think I heard you say that, Mr. Kane, but do you have any objection to my seeing the record?
No, you can.
Okay.
And Your Honor, this is a copy of the letter that was sent to Mr. Canning back in August of 2007 indicating that his privilege will be suspended and take care of it
Again, have any
outside.
objection to my seeing that?
No.
I have no further questions for Officer Tenny.
Okay, just a second. Okay, once again, Mr. Canning, if you have any questions for this witness, you can ask them now.
No, I don't have.
Okay, thank you. You can sit down. Anything else from the state?
No, the state rest.
Okay. State's rest of this case, Mr. Canning, if you had any legal motions relevant to the case, you could make them now, otherwise it'll be your opportunity to put on a defense if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
No motions? You didn't want to testify?
Not really.
You sure?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Anything else from either side?
I guess they just want to, just in closing that, based on the testimony given by the officers, Mr. Canning did operate a motor vehicle 1991 Mazda Protege on May 29th at 7:52 p.m. on a public way to a Basefield Road, and he was aware that he was suspended based on documentation presented to the court.
All right, Mr. Canning, I think the state has proved the three elements beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm entering a guilty finding. Is this a standard fine?
Yes, Your Honor, $250 plus the penalty assessment.
All right, standard fine is $250 plus 50 for a total of $300. Are you able to pay that this morning?
No.
Okay. When do you think you'll be able to pay that fine?
Never.
Never? Okay, how about community service then? You can do community service in lieu of a fine, then you don't have to pay a fine, and you get credit at $10 an hour. It has to be a legitimate nonprofit agency.
That might work.
Okay, well, that'll be the order. How long do you think it'll take you to do that?
I don't know.
Are you working?
Yeah, I'm busy. I just don't know what that'll entail.
Okay, well, there's a list of some people outside. A lot of people use the community kitchen, the Humane Society, there's a lot of places, YMCA, the places like that. You don't have to do it at one place, you can do it at a number of places. What we'll need to do is have you submit evidence that you've done the 30 hours of community service by September 26th, a little over a month. And if it hasn't been done, you'll have to appear that date. All right, you need to wait outside to get a copy of that so that you know what to do. If you have a right to appeal because you had a trial here, so if you disagree with the outcome, either the sentence or the disposition, to give you some information about how you can perfect an appeal to the Supreme Court, that's what you'd like to do.
Okay.
Any questions about that?
Nope.
Okay, you're all set then, thank you.
All right.